My august nation, valuable members of the Parliament, I would like to greet you all with the most heartfelt sentiments, love and affection. I wish you success in the General Assembly meeting of the Budget Commission. The budget work, which is one of the most important activities of our Parliament, is at the same time a platform in which the capabilities and the skills of our MPs can easily be presented. From the head of our commission to all our MPs, to all our ministers and their delegations and teams who have defended their budgets, I would like to thank each one of my friends who contributed to the budget preparation process. Hopefully, the same level of success will be obtained in the General Assembly session so that the 2022 and 2023 budget will be prepared for our country and for our nation. Valuable friends, the move for democratization and economic development, which left the mark for the last 19 years, has been a very dynamic process. And right now we are in a different phase of this dynamic process. Investment, employment, production and export will be the basis and focus of our growth strategy, and with this growth strategy we will continue to our path, and this policy has not come from thin air. And this every masterpiece and every service that we have provided for our nation and every investment that we have done and any balance that we have set in the macroeconomics hath served for this purpose. From the education to health, from energy to transportation, the Turkey has had such a weak infrastructure, but realizing such a great transformation was not possible with such kind of a weak infrastructure. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, with his endeavors initiated from the first years of the Republic of Turkey, from İnönü to Özal, many politicians have had the same endeavors and same aims, but unfortunately all of those endeavors have been interrupted by this single-party fascism and also their authoritarian regime. Of course, behind all those interruptions, there were the ones who didn't want Turkey to have a louder voice in the international politics, which set forth the international order. As of 1947, which was the year when we for the first time undersigned an agreement with the IMF, many of our economic policies and also our foreign policies have been controlled by this international order. From the business world to all the media organs, every dynamic of our Turkey have tried to be designed with the aforesaid dynamics. From Menderes to Özal, from Professor Erbakan to our time, the ones who would like to turn back to Turkey to its original path have been insulted in an illegal and impertinent fashion. Despite all those obstacles and all those barriers, and after such kind of interruptions, our nation has turned back to its culture, its civilizational values. I do believe that some of you know the story of Cahit Zarifoğlu. A dovetail has been given an engine by the other birds, so rather than using its own feathers and wings, the dovetail started flying with this engine, and it becomes so comfortable that this dovetail forgets how to fly with its own wing. And unfortunately, since its beak is clashing on the engine, it loses its function. This engine, this metal, which is not suitable for his body, cannot fly, and all of a sudden this engine is taken out of this dovetail, but the dovetail beak is not functioning, and the dovetail cannot even fly. So they are the ones who try to put Turkey in the situation of this dovetail, both from inside and outside. And unfortunately, they were successful for quite a long time. Valuable friends, when AK Party, the Justice and Development Party, came to power, this aforesaid story has been experienced in Turkey for almost 200 years, and this was the country to which we have come to power. Of course, our term in power has also filled with many struggles. Once we have to fight against the toothless supporters, and then we have to fight against the terrorist organizations from PKK to YPD. They pushed those terrorist organizations in front of us so that we can fight with them. And then we have to fight against the Fethullah terrorist organizations, and they attacked on us with those traitors. From our negotiation process with the European Union to our relations with the United States of America to the issue of Cyprus, we have been subject to many injustices, which I'm not even counting. With the help of God and the support of our nation, we have overcome every obstacles that we have faced with, and we have never kept Turkey apart from its targets and ambitions. Just like today, in every period when Turkey faced with new threats, there were the ones who were drooling that the Turkey will collapse, and they were enjoying this probability. And this was how they reacted. With the overnight declarations, they tried to close our party, so they didn't side with the democracy, but rather the pro-junta supporters. And they did their best in order to spread the bloodshed to us. In every injustices and double standards, they always sided with the opposition of Turkey. Rather than standing against the coup attempters, they were applauding the tanks of the coup plotters, and they tried to defame the heroic resilience and stance of our nation by claiming that we will destroy the Turkish economy. They, as a result, served to their purpose, and at the same time, they were the comrades of the ones who stated that we will collapse Turkey. They stated they were the ones that they say that Turkey is becoming such a big player, so we should prevent Turkey, and they have sided with them. Even our forests were burning down. Rather than putting an end and extinguishing that fire, unfortunately, they put oil to the fire in order to grow it. İdris Küçükoğlu defined this mentality as the status quo owners and the ones who prevent Turkey from growing even further. So this mentality of a mandate loving has articulated many words, and let's remember what they said. Let's go back to our video. The inflation rates are on the rise, and there is a prime minister who should solve it, and he says why those interest rates are so high. The president is also saying that the interest rates are very high, so drop those interest rates. I mean, if you drop down the interest rates, we will not prevent you. If you say that the interest rates shouldn't be more than 1% and put it to a motion in the parliament, we will support it. The interest rate decision of the central bank was on the agenda of the opposition party, and the leader of the opposition party called for a snap early election. Let me say once again, bring the motion to the parliament to drop down the interest rates to 1%, we will support it. So they are such kind of people. Yesterday they say something, today they will say something else, and tomorrow they will say something completely different. And they will do this without feeling any shame or blushing, and they will do and spread those lies with such a high level of self-confidence. At the end of the day, they are the interest rate lovers. And on one side, without being even ashamed, they will ask for us to drop down the interest rates to 1%. And they are also vowing, and they are giving their words, but what they say when they say that they are giving their words, it's not going to be acceptable at all. I mean, I am repeating the same sentences all the time. Everyone knows that I don't love high interest rates. I have never been a supporter of high interest rates. I'm not today, and I will not be tomorrow. But you are the lovers of a mandate regime. And you have done the same thing regarding to the discussion based on the high foreign exchange rate. They want Turkey to collapse. They want Turkey to be destroyed, so that without doing anything and putting any effort, they would like to come back to power. So what they want is that all those efforts will be in vain, so that they will go back to power and enjoy the power. So they want our nation to put their mind aside, so that our nation should serve for the interests of someone else. They also want that this nation, this country, should lose the most critical fight of its own, and this nation should give up from further democratization and economic development. We can count on and on and on. Of course, we will say you will have to wait for a long time. That is the sentence that we will say to those impertinent people. To those hungry wolves, we will say never dare, because you are serving for the foreign powers. Putting aside our existence in those lands, we will say no to our eternal enemies who cannot stand us, and even to the breath that we take. And we also say to them that you will not win. We say those sentences to those who are trying to prevent Turkey from economic development. As we have fought against the terrorist organizations, the coup attempters, the totalist supporters, and the global financial circles, we will fight in the same fashion to the interest rate lovers and lobbyists. As we have never returned from our sacred cause, we will not return back from this path that we have been following. Valuable friends, our nation has had the heritage of fighting against every threat, and our nation is comprised of our ancestors and our women who fought very bravely. In the face of ambiguities of foreign exchange rates, we do understand this sincere concern of our citizens. We have been closely following the positive development in the field of production and employment, but we also very cautiously follow the negative developments in the field of higher interest rates and higher foreign exchange rates. Of course, this is our job and this is what we are going to do. So we should once again state that we are aware of the fact that the foreign exchange rate should be stabilized. Although those fluctuations are due to the global fluctuations, we are also aware of the fact that there are illogical hyperinflation in the market. All those developments are triggering with each other, so this poisonous climate, which has been fed and nourished by such hyperinflation, should be taken into consideration and should be assessed. And this is due to the fact that we are also going through very challenging times. As you know, uh, the Republic of Turkey has given up from the monetary policy with a higher interest rate. So we have preferred a growth strategy which finds its basis on the educational investments and production and further employment and export. During the pandemic, Turkey is one of the most important centers between Europe and China, and Turkey has become one of the few countries who has the positive growth rates, and this is something that we owe to these policies. The third quarter of this year's growth rate was announced as 7.4% yesterday. With this growth rate, Turkey is the number one country among the G20 countries. In terms of our national income, with comparison to the same period of a previous year, our national income increased by 8%. In the third quarter, there was a 25.6% of goods export increase, and our import rate dropped 3% down. And the most important factor for our growth rate this year is due to our increasing export rates. The export to import coverage ratio has gone beyond 83%, and as a result, Turkey, with a great level of determination, goes towards its targets and ambitions. And by the way, our export rate is not increasing numerically only, so our export comes from the industrial production. And by the way, we have established such a strong infrastructure which can even double our export rates. With all our factories, with all our industrialized, organized industrial zones, we are working day and night and we are producing. Hopefully, 2021 will be finalized with double-digit growth rates. However, if we have opted for high interest rate system, then most probably we wouldn't be able to see those growth figures. And most probably, some of the problems that we are facing today wouldn't be existed at all. But rest assured, for the upcoming 10 or years or decades even, Turkey wouldn't have the chance to be among the developed countries. Either we were going to do this transformation right now, or otherwise we would give permission to our generations to survive in poverty. Maybe this was risky for our political party, but it was right thing to do for the future of our nation, and that is what we have done. So rather than increasing the interest rates, making sure that the capital owners will add more wealth to their wealth, we dropped down the interest rates, because at the end of the day, the interest rates make wealthies even more wealthier and the poor people even poorer. So I wonder whether there will be someone who rise up and say that you are doing wrong by increasing the interest rates. They cannot say this, because at the end of the day, what is the right thing to do is what we have done. If we were on the wrong track, then most probably there will be the other actors who will prevent us from growing even further. But right now, with new equipments and with the brand new investments, we are on a competition of an uninterrupted increase in our capacity. At the end of the day, we are not chasing after or turning Turkey to a heaven of hot money, which can easily fly away from our country in the first opportunity, but we are trying to make those investments permanent, because we know that from many previous examples, we have even experienced them in Turkey. That's why we are trying to open the pathway for a better economy with those good examples. We know that the resources of our country is very limited, so rather than putting those limited resources to an infertile circle, destroyed in the spiral of high interest rates and high inflation, which are trying to drop down the interest rate so that the production and employment can increase. And in the near future, all of those savings will be flooding to further investments and higher level of production. So rather than the interest rates are being dictated on us, we will define our interest rates according to the needs and necessities of our nation. So there are the ones who are trying to turn Turkey into a heaven of imports with the low interest rates. The real wealth can be assessed with the higher employment rates and the higher export volumes and a higher level of safety and security feeling for future. No one is going to lose from lower interest rates other than the ones who are making money out of their monies. The inflation rates go up and down, the foreign exchange rates can go up and down, and they fluctuate all the time, but every increase that we have in our employment is a permanent gain. And as we say in the politics, we will repeat the same thing for the economy. The world is bigger than five. This journey that we have set foot to hopefully will be auspicious for all of us and for all the humanity. That is what we sincerely believe. And of course, the victory will be certain in a right cause. Valuable friends, this increase in fluctuations in the foreign exchange and interest rate is not the result of our new policy, but rather the attempt of preventing our policies. There are the ones who try to misinterpret such developments. So there are the ones who are trying to imprison Turkey to the IMF recipes for the economic development, but their hypocrisy are crystal clear. Mr. Kemal, at the end of the day, aren't you the one who were negotiating in the hotel room with the IMF representatives? We know what you are. Today, as all the developed economies are keeping the interest rates at a certain level, aren't they facing with higher inflation rates from Belgium to Germany and Italy? Last year they had negative inflation rates, but this year they are experiencing 4, 5, and even 6% of inflation rates, and those inflation rates are still on the rise. And those inflation rates are representing the consumer price index. When it comes to the producer's price index, the inflation rates are even going all the way up to 20% and even more. And there is the reality of high inflation rates in many countries, including but not limited to United States of America and Japan. And as our history dictates, Turkey has been accustomed to high inflation rates like 30%, which is an easy problem to be solved in the near future. But 4% or 5% and even 20 or 30% of inflation rates when it comes to producer's price index is an indication for a great disaster. At the end of the day, you are spreading lies and try to defame Turkey. But did you see that the ones who are spreading lies and defame a country is covering such a wide area in the media because they will not allow such kind of political party representatives to invade the media for so long? Assessing Turkish economy based on the inflation only will be unjust because we are trying to realize such a well-rooted economic transformation, and with a more consistent economy policies, we are trying to make sure that Turkey will reach to its targets. But when we do this, they are raising the whole world. So they are not defending the national interest of Turkey, but they are defending the interests of the international capital owners. By doing this, you cannot become some person or people with consciousness. You cannot be someone national. As this is the case in any other field, with our national stance, we are determined to make Turkey one of the global powers in the economy as well. As we are struggling for that, we will never allow those who are buying foreign exchanges and putting a higher price tag to their products. We will never allow them to succeed. So they will be sorry about it. So I would like to make a call to my nation who are watching us in front of their TVs, and I would like to make this call to all my MP colleagues and friends. Let me say this very openly. First and foremost, the ones who are stockpiling will live their grave in this country. Stockpiling cannot be tolerated according to our religion. If they are the ones who are stockpiling, they will pay the price. The Ottoman Empire made sure that the stockpilers have paid for that, and we will make sure about it. the Ministry of Trade and the relevant authorities will be onto them, onto those stockpilers. I also would like to make a call to my citizens. As you are buying your foreign exchange, or when you are buying new stuff, think about for the long term, and please do not lose your consciousness and do not act impulsive, because at the end of the day we are trying to make sure that we will produce more, we will earn more, and we will increase the hope, and this is the economic structure that we are trying to construct right now. Dear brothers and sisters, this is what Turkey deserves. This is what the Turkish nation deserves. There are still the ones who are trying to dictate high foreign exchange rates. There are the ones who are trying to manipulate the foreign exchange and high interest rates, and they are the ones who are trying to steal from our nation, but they should know that they are attempting on the future of their kids. Once again, let me openly say that this infertile circle economy will never return back to Turkey, and the political and economic independence and future of Turkey will never be left to Republican People's Party or to the solutions of the tutelage supporters like the Republican People's Party or IMF. High interest rate and low foreign exchange rate type of colonial economic structure will never return back to Turkey. Every money that we earn via our exports will be directed for further investments, and with the current account surplus we will develop our economy even further. The famous Russian economist Kehoe, as he stated in his book, he says, what will save us is to work. Altogether, we will work even more. We will produce, and we will produce even more. We will become much more stronger and stronger and stronger. We will grow, and we will grow even more and more. Hopefully, as of this year, we will go beyond the level of 10% economic growth. And we will never allow anyone to intervene on our sustenance and on our work, so that a brighter future for our friends and for our nation will be constructed all together. As I have always articulated, we know what we do, we know how to do, and we know with what kind of risks we will encounter with, and we also know what will be the results that we are yielding. We also know what kind of a strong economic infrastructure we have established for Turkey, and as we have established such a high level of democracy for Turkey, we will make sure that the economic development of Turkey will be very strong. And as we have targeted in before, we will never stop and we will never hesitate until Turkey is among the most developed countries. The Izmir economic Congress decisions have been interrupted with the Great Depression, and the economic development maneuvers of Özal has been interrupted with the coalition governments. But since they couldn't prevent us for the last 19 years, that's why we are able to realize this great economic transformation. Hopefully, we will accomplish this transformation as well, and the century-old dream of our nation will be turning into a reality. We say to our nation, work, produce, and create employment opportunities, but as we are making this call, we as the government, do what we are expected from us, and we will continue to do so. During the pandemic, from the industrialists to the tradesmen, from the workers to the low-income families, we have extended economic support so that these challenging times have been overcome with the least level of challenges possible. When the energy prices skyrocketed, during that time we have reduced the natural gas prices to its 25% level, and the electricity prices decreased to its half price. They have put many banners to the billboards, but they are not ashamed of themselves, and they are criticizing us about increasing the electricity and natural gas prices. Be ashamed of yourself. Right now, take a look to the electricity and natural gas prices in Europe, and take a look at the prices in our country.
Petrolden üretilen akaryakıtı Avrupa dahil bölgemizde
We are the country who gives the oil with the least possible prices to its consumers all over the Europe. So how come you can criticize us for raising the energy prices? Unfortunately, when you lack pertinence and solemnity, you can write anything. Ferit Khan, may God rest his soul, together with our professor Mahir Is, was wandering in the Saraçhane district, and all of a sudden he has seen something, and he turned back to his professor and says that those people lack honor and pertinence. Everyone wandered in these streets without any honesty and without any pertinence and shame. We unfortunately experience the same thing. Those people have no honesty, have no modesty, have no shame, but we will, despite them, continue to our sacred path. In order to prevent our citizens to be under the tension and pressure of the global increases in terms of those energy prices, we have used more than 150 billion Turkish liras from our public resources so that our citizens will not be under the pressure of globally increasing prices. We think about our citizens, but you are defending the thieves, and you are defending the ones who are trying to seize and prey on the resources of Turkey and public resources. You cannot say anything against them because this is how your character is built. And as the Justice and Development Party, we will never allow that. In order to ease our citizens whose purchasing power is dropping down, we will take additional steps. So I would like to make sure that our citizens should be assured we will never allow them to feel the pressure of increasing prices. And with all those aid and support packages, we will side with every segment of our society. Yesterday, I have participated in a TV program and I have announced 2 support packages for the first time, and let me repeat them once again. The first support package has been prepared for our SMEs. It will be supporting further employment. With this support packages, we will be supporting our companies with the number of workers less than 50. So if they are employing an additional person, then we will provide them 100,000 Turkish liras worth of a credit through Credit Guarantee Fund. The enterprises who are willing to a benefit from the Turkish Employment Agency via this credit fund, their social security premium payments will be dropped down at the end of each year. Our target is to give support to 11,000 of our companies so that they will benefit from 10 billion Turkish liras of a credit, so that the way will be opened for an additional 50,000 of employment. Our second great news is coming from our support package for the import substitution program. And with this support package, hopefully the credits will be created for long term, and we will support the productions which are focusing on exports. Especially, we will extend this support package to the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth zone production centers, and up to 7 point of interest rate support will be given to our enterprises within the auspices of Hamne program. The neighboring provinces will be able to make use of this credit as well. Thanks to all those support programs, hopefully the innovative projects will be realized in our country, which we have announced for the import of 919 cutting-edge technology products. We are spending 60 billion Turkish liras. Although we have the current account surplus, without solving this expenditure problem, it's not possible for us to reach out to our targets. So when we make enough level of investment to our labor force, we can really break this infertile circle. In order to promote the production of the products that we have announced in this list, we will provide additional supports and exemptions to our enterprises in the fields of being included but not limited to tax exemptions and etc. In the field of digital transformation and health and chemistry sectors, we have already made our calls for further projects, and up until now we have decided on extending our support to machine production. As a result, the CNC machines are started to be manufactured in our country. And in terms of the laser technology, there are many developments unfolding. More than 800 projects have been supported with 10 billion TLs of R&D support, and the total amount of this support is already reaching to 50 billion Turkish liras. And we will continue with those programs until the point is reached where we can produce our high-level technology products. And at the same time, we are preparing ourselves for additional support packages for our medium-scaled enterprises. When the time is up, we will share the good news with you and with our nation. Valuable friends, one of the most important lessons that we should draw from the recent history is to embrace our independent justice system, which is the warranty of our rights and freedoms. In the past, the coup plotters and the tutelage supporters left a huge scar and mark on the national justice system. We remember those marks from the 28th of February period and the Yassıada trials. Our nation has thrown away the shackles of tutelage supporters dictated on them, and our nation has even given its life in the fight against the coup plotters. As a result, our nation deserves the best possible justice system, because we do believe that the strength of our nation will be even clenched further via democracy. That's why we always have the will of reforming our justice system. As you know, on 13th of May 2019, we have already realized 5 judicial reform package. But the first judicial reform package, we have supported the freedoms and rights, and specifically we have taken additional steps for seeking legal remedy in the field of freedom of expression. With the second judicial reform package, we try to gain back our people who served time. And with the third reform package, we have boosted up and strengthened our justice system even further. And with the fourth judicial reform package, we have strengthened the law of presumption of innocence. With the fifth judicial reform package, we have excluded the issues regarding to the children under the issues of guardianship and custody. And with this fifth judicial reform package, we made sure that our disabled people can also become public prosecutors and attorney generals. With all those reform packages that we have realized, we have made the necessary legal regulations which will serve to the needs of our people. And the Ministry of Justice has already started working for an additional judicial reform package. And hopefully, thanks to this new judicial reform package, the peace and conciliation will be reached among the conflicts of the administrative organizations and our citizens. And we will be working on judicial regulations which will increase the sanctions regarding to the harassment cases on our women. In order to respond to the expectations of our staff in the court houses, we will take the necessary steps in the upcoming year. After this group meeting, I will be attending to the 20th Education Council meeting. The decisions to be taken in this council meeting be auspicious for our nation, for our education system, and our kids. I would like to extend my gratitude, respect, and love and affection to all of you. Stay healthy and safe.
Konuşmalarından dolayı teşekkür ediyoruz. Arkadaşlar, genel kurul saat 14'te başlıyor. Biraz önce ifade ettiğim gibi kanun teklifini bitirmek üzere bu hafta geç saatlere kadar çalışacağız. Çarşamba, Perşembe günü. Onun için değerli arkadaşlarımız lütfen hassas olmalarını istirham ediyorum. İyi haftalar diliyorum.